Long time here before, and of course I was here for the April 27th, 2011 tornado outbreak.
A day that none of us will never forget.
A day that none of us will ever forget, one that we would like to forget happened just based on.
Hi, this is John Hampton, and you are John Robert Hampton, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're here at University of Alabama, Huntsville for the WeatherFest 2024. And depending on which video you're watching, there may be only one video this time because it's kind of rainy and nasty. We might just put everything all together in one video as opposed to three like we did last year, as we probably won't have as much video this time around with it being
It's
rainy.
supposed to be indoor. That ain't gonna hurt.
Well, you know, the indoor stuff, but we probably won't have none of the outdoor stuff or like we did last time. We didn't have the wet, last time they had that weather balloon lunch and everything, so we won't have that this time, unfortunately. But we will carry on and show you what we do have. So we'll talk to you later. Let's go on and have it and get it done. So first of all, tell us who you are.
All right, my name's Jeff Castle. I'm the Chief Meteorologist at WAAY-31 here in Huntsville.
So Jeff,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about why having multiple radars in the area is a good thing to have.
It gives us different views of the storms and also gives us a live view of the storms and helps us detect dangerous weather a little bit quicker.
And I know you are very familiar with Huntsville. You just came back to 31.
Yes.
You worked at 48 previously as a weekend meteorologist, I recall, back several years ago.
Yeah, I did mornings. Actually, I did morning weather for 12 years previously, and now back in the area as chief at 31. Hoping to have another long stint, 12 years, long time here before. And of course, I was here for the April 27th, 2011 tornado outbreak.
A day that none of us will never forget.
A day that none of us will ever forget, one that we would like to forget happened just based on the impacts that it had around here.
So what do you think our chances of having something like that ever happen again?
Fairly low. I mean, that was probably a once-in-a-generation type of tornado outbreak, but we know this area is prone to those sort of things, and there will be another situation like that, but hopefully not for a very long time.
Very good. And welcome back to Huntsville.
All right, yeah, appreciate it. Glad to be back.
So this is Brad Travis from 48. Been here a long time.
Yep.
So first thing is, tell us how these 48 alert days work.
Well, the whole point is we know in this day and age there aren't as many people watching TV on a regular basis. We know that by ratings. So we realize there's a point where people need to watch, and that's when we say, okay, we're going to put out a first alert here. And that's kind of the indication that the pattern's changing. This is something you need to keep up to date on. And when it becomes more serious or a big impact, like today, for example, it's not severe weather, it's just a lot of rain, we say it's a first alert weather day. This is a day that's going to impact what you do today. And we realize it's a Saturday. For example, there's a lot of rain, people are going to be out and about. So it's not just a normal day where people are going to be inside. So that's what it's all about. And there's a flooding risk with this, and that's pretty much the way we base it on is impact.
All right, and one more question for you, because I know aside from weather, your other passion is cars.
Yes.
What is your favorite classic car and why?
Well, it's got to be a 69 Mach 1. That's what I've got. And as a kid, I still remember, I was probably 5 years old. I saw my first Mach 1. It was in the early 70s, and it would have been a 69 or a 70. And I was like, okay, that's a pretty awesome car. And I've just always been drawn to that car. It's not a Ford or Chevy thing, but it's just that Mach 1 changed my life, so to speak.
What about a Ford or Chevy?
Well, my next car, I think I'm going to get an IROC, about like an 88, 89 IROC, and have it restored because I kind of like that era. I actually had an 89 Mustang when I was in high school, and it was stolen. So I got a lot of cars that have been stolen. So
I think I'm going to get an 04 Corvette.
Oh, that's a nice car.
Right now, you know what he's driving right now? His first vehicle.
Oh, yeah?
A 1991 Ford F-150.
It's not bad. You know what my first vehicle was? It's a 1976 Chevy Chevette.
You know what I want to do, but he won't let me?
What's
I
that?
want to straight pipe it right up the neighborhood.
There you go. Put some piano wire in the exhaust.
Hey, certainly want to thank you again for joining us today, Brad.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So this is the geopolarization radar that University of Alabama Huntsville takes out in storms and everything. This is Huntsville-Madison County Rescue Squad. This is the 31 storm tracker and the 219 vehicles.
Y'all get in. Come on.
Okay, so Jay Spann, this is John Hampton and John Robert Hampton with Ryland Television YouTube.
Oh, we got a video going. Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a picture here.
We can get a picture.
This guy.
So I have a couple questions for you.
Oh, great. Is this easy or hard?
I was going to ask you, first of all...
Well, he didn't answer if it was easy or hard. I mean, is it easy or hard?
I'm going to try to give you some easy ones.
Okay, I'll do that.
I was going to say, tell us a little bit about the book, All You Can Do Is Pray.
That's about April 27th, 2011.
A day I'll never forget.
If I didn't write that book, I would be haunted every day for the rest of my life. And I'm not much of a writer, but I had to write that one. So I wanted to preserve the science of the day, what it was like to work that day. You got 62 tornadoes in one day, and mainly stories. And some of the stories have been told. A lot of them have not been told about people affected by it. Some that didn't survive, some that did. So that's the April 27, 2011 book. I wish we knew more about March 21st, 1932. That was a generational outbreak, and we don't know. And even 1974, there's some things we don't know about April 1974. So I wanted to be sure that we preserve some fact for this one.
I don't blame you there, because this was, I'll be honest with you, if I live to be 115, I'll never forget that day.
You should live through 74. It was...
I was born...
I was not here in 32 for that one.
I was born a month
74.
later.
Okay.
I was here, but I wasn't here, if you know what I mean.
74 was rough. It was bad. It was much like 2011. And so many of these, is like 1884, the Enigma outbreak. We don't know much about that one. These happen about every 40 years. And so hopefully the book will just preserve the inside baseball of that day for the next generation.
Been hearing a lot in the news about atmospheric rivers. What is an atmospheric river?
We used to call them the Pineapple Express when I was a kid. I mean, some pinhead decided we're going to call them atmospheric rivers. Now, I don't know. It's like when I was a kid, we called them squall lines. And then some pinhead decided it's quasi-linear convective system. It's a long fetch of tropical moisture from the Pacific that's typically aimed at the west coast of the United States. And those have been around forever. But they have morphed the name from the Pineapple Express to atmospheric rivers. And it typically sets up, flooding type events and tremendous mountain snows in California, which quite frankly they need. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing for them. I know that they've got short-term problems, but it really helps with the lake levels and the mountain snow that they need for the snow melt in the spring. Boy, this makes me happy. They're playing Freebird in here. This is too good.
We live in North Alabama, and I know on 30 or 340, you usually cover more central Alabama. But I noticed that you don't leave us out, for those of us who are streaming your coverage on our computers or whatnot.
Well, what I want to do one day, sooner than later, and I mean sooner than later, is to provide is to do all 67 Alabama counties. I know this state better than anybody, and it's useless information except when the weather's bad, and I want to make that happen quick. So my vision is to, if there's a tornado warning for Jackson County, there's a tornado warning for Geneva County, there's a tornado warning for Clark County, Butler County. Doesn't matter. We just go on and we stay on, and that will happen sooner than later.
Last question for you. Give us a little bit of info about WeatherBrains.
Ooh, it's the 2-hour show for weather dweebs, nerds, geeks, dorks, and weenies. Monday nights, 7 o'clock Central. It's live on the WeatherBrains YouTube channel. Most people listen to the podcast version, the audio version. But we've got the biggest names in weather enterprise on there. We had Mike Vermillion on last week. He runs the National Water Center down in Tuscaloosa. It's only for weather dweebs. Listen, if you're not a weather dweeb, don't watch it. Don't listen to it. It's not for you. But if you like weather, just search on your podcast app, WeatherBrains. We've been doing it for 18 years. 18 years.
Wow.
How about how many podcasts are 18 years old?
I've never even
Of course, the late great JB Elliott was with y'all when y'all started.
Oh, he's my mentor. He's the greatest. I mean, you can go back and see some of the original episodes with JB, but he was the walking encyclopedia of Alabama weather, and I miss him greatly.
I remember he was telling a story about '74. He said that there was this lady that called and complained about, God's going to get y'all for putting all this weather information out there and scaring people. He said, ma'am, he said, I'm going to walk over to my console, pick the biggest tornado we got, and he said, I'm going to send it your way.
Route it right over your house.
And she said, she looked at, he said, you can hear her tell her husband, my God, they actually do control the weather.
That's JB. And that actually happened. That is a true
We're
story.
gonna get a picture and then we're gonna go on.
All right, now, here we go.
So we're here with Chris Reed of the Huntsville-Madison County EMA. So Chris, what is your most important advice to people regarding severe weather in the Tennessee Valley?
It's real simple. Be prepared. And that means a number of things. Have yourself a kit with 72 hours worth of necessary things like food, non-perishable food, water, battery-powered radio to get information, no weather radio to get alerts, and anything that you might need, medicines that you might need for a 72-hour period. We just had the winter weather event, and a lot of folks were able to use their 72-hour kits and be prepared.
They always say, the debate on sirens versus weather radios. Weather radios are better, as we know, but what are the sirens good for?
Well, they're both good. They both have their place. And no weather radio is for inside and indoors. We certainly recommend that you have a no weather radio. But we have those outdoor warning sirens where they hit areas of public gathering outside, like parks, schools, and things of that nature. So if people are out of doors, they can hear those sirens and go indoors and see what the emergency is.
And of course, natural disasters are not the only thing the EMA responds to. Y'all respond to just about everything going on in the county.
Well, we certainly do. We be prepared for hazmats. Sometimes, there's a hazardous materials situation where we work and coordinate with the fire department and help them out as needed. And of course, we participate in the Browns Ferry Nuclear Power Plant program. We prepare in case of an emergency there.
Right, because especially the western side of the county would be impacted by that.
Yes.
Eastern side of the county, not so much.
Well, the further away you get, the better off you are. But Browns Ferry is very well prepared. I can attest to that. We drill on it every year and keep our preparedness actions safe and prepared to respond as necessary.
Thank you for your taking the time to talk to us today.
Absolutely, and we grew up just a couple of miles from Ryland, so it's our home turf, and we grew up there on Loveday Hill, just off of Pardon Drive in Ryland, just outside
It's
of
got a
Ryland.
home court advantage.
Yeah.